show you checkpoint one, look what it leads to. Look what it leads to. Look what it leads to. A swing that's on plane with a square club face throughout. All you're doing is, once you set that club, you're maintaining this relationship. You're keeping the structure of your arms the same. You're not changing anything. You're turning and driving it back down. And that's why you see the best golfers in the world get in those textbook positions, because they get here and it just turns into the right position. The most fun that we're having with our job.
Yep.
Next to standing on the range at a major championship with our players is the Porzak Golf Complete Game Clinic. We have two of the most unbelievable locations here in the Southwest and the Northeast. We start off here in San Diego at the Grand Del Mar, one of the best practice facilities in all of California. We have the Fairmont for accommodations.
But I'll tell you what, one of my personal favorites, North Stonington, Connecticut, the Lake of Isles Golf Course, one of the most beautiful and best public courses in the country, right next to the Foxwoods Resort Casino, which is the second largest casino in the country. Incredible facility, incredible place, and really some incredible stuff coming out of there.
You guys, the Porzak Golf Complete Game Clinic covers every aspect of the game. There is not one part of the golf game that's not talked about. We cover everything. So listen, we invite you to join us. Contact us for dates at info@porzakgolf.com. We can't wait to see you.
All right, guys, we covered the hip bump and the setup, right? Now we're moving on to the takeaway, okay? Takeaway and set position. Let's get our first question here from Dry509. Why is checkpoint one the perfect spot? How do you get the club back to the ball? No one ever seems to explain this. When I try, I hit behind the ball.
Yeah, this is a great question. You know, why is checkpoint one? We'll talk about what checkpoint one is. That was actually, believe it or not, our first checkpoint we ever created in the golf swing.
Yep.
You know, of course, after the setup checkpoints we create, checkpoint one leads to the proper set position.
Yep.
Now, checkpoint one is an important one to understand, though, because it does lead to the perfect set position. Now, if I put this alignment rod right down the line of my feet and shoved it off to the right side of my body there for a right-handed player, what is checkpoint one? Well, when the golf club is parallel to the ground, it's right down the line of the feet matching my hands, leading edge of the club matching my spine angle. Now, what does that mean? If I just rotate back, it hits it right down the line. Think about this. If I take it inside here with no manipulation, yeah, Mike has to move. It's going out there. If I took it out here with no manipulation, it's over there. So the whole point is checkpoint one is a spot in the takeaway when the club is parallel to the ground that makes my hands disappear from your perspective. It's right down the line of my feet, leading edge matching my spine angle. Now that just happens to be a square club face that's preset on the right path throughout the swing. If I have it right down here, well, it doesn't have enough angle of attack. If I have it right there, well, now the club's going to bottom out where the golf ball is. If the face looks like this, it's going to be wide open. Face looks like this, it's going to be dead shut if I just rotate back. So it puts me in a position from the face on view. Here's that imaginary wall that my club face needs to square up against. Checkpoint one. Now watch. I can rotate and open up, and that club face gets back to square when I simply just rotate and let my body go. So very important to understand that checkpoint one is what's hit on the way up to the proper set position with the club going up my trail arm with the butt of the club pointed down towards the golf ball. That also puts me on the path of the least amount of manipulation. Okay, but the whole point is you can see I can sit there and talk to you guys and I can hold that position and simply just let it go on the way back and it hits it down the line of my target with good contact. Okay, so something that's important to understand about that is it's just the takeaway move in a spot that we always look for in the swing that puts our players throughout their swing on the least amount of manipulation. And once again, if I show you checkpoint one, look what it leads to. Look what it leads to. Look what it leads to. A swing that's on plane with a square club face throughout.
All right, so from Elise Dice, what does keep the club outside of my hands mean?
Yeah, so let's talk about that because we used to talk about this all the time. Club in front of hands, hands in front of body.
Yep.
The old school drill my dad would have me do. Ready? Here we go. Club in front of my hands. Club in front of my hands. That's in front. This is behind, right? So if I get the club behind me and I turn and face you, whoa, that's already the amount that I either need to come over it or flip it just to get back to where I need to be. If I have the club in front of my hands, look at that. The club's right in front of me. Hands are right in front of my body. That puts me in a position, once again, where I just don't have to manipulate anything throughout the golf swing. So keeping the club in front of me is just like this, keeping it in front of my hands, not letting, look at my finger, not letting the club get away from that finger, keeping it right there, letting my body's rotation move it up the plane and not immediately turning the butt of the club to the target and getting the club behind me.
Awesome. All right, KPAL 1. I've been working on this drill, the set position, a lot lately, but I'm still confused on when I should hinge my wrists. Is it when my hands reach my right pocket
Immediately.
area for a
Okay, immediately. So
right-handed golfer?
Yeah, so here's the thing. So when you watch the hinge, okay, let's talk about this real quick. This is a big one. I've been teaching this a lot to players because it's just the heartbeat of the golf swing.
Yeah.
You know,
power,
the set position, you guys, is just the position we turn to the top. And the slot is just the set position going in the other direction. So the whole point is, when we have the proper set position, I can rotate back to the golf ball. I can rotate and release and hit the ball down the line. Let's talk about this. It's not drag it and then set. It's not set and then turn. It's your body's turn, your lead shoulders moving your hands at a pace, right? Your hands are moving at the pace of your lead shoulder. The hinge is happening immediately at the pace of that. Now, where people mess this up, they hinge the club and they immediately start picking it up and disconnecting from their body. Right. So I've been talking about there's 3 components of the proper set position. 3 components, ready? Here they are. From the face-on view 2, from the down-the-line view 1. From the face-on view, there's connection between your body and hands. That means your body's turn has driven this motion and moved it. There is connection and there's leverage. That L that we're creating between the lead arm and club, it doesn't need to be a perfect 90-degree angle, but within 20 to 30 degrees of that would be great. Okay? That right there is happening from the face-on view. If you have connection, you have the ability to rotate. If you have leverage, you have the ability to release and not let the club get past your hands. Watch this. You have no leverage. Well, you can't really release. You have to drag that, right? Or you have to down cock it and then hold. That's a tough move. We don't teach that. So here's the big thing. We teach leverage and connection. And the third component of that is leverage and connection on plane. Butt of the club towards the ball. Once again, putting us on the path of the least amount of manipulation right down the line. So if we can get in the mirror from the face-on view and make sure that our sternum is looking at our hands, we can see close to a 90-degree angle here. We feel the shoulder, hands, and club all doing that at the same pace. Now what that feels like to me is my shoulders moving my hands. There's a little downward pressure in my heel pads. There's a little upward motion with my trigger fingers and thumbs to create that leverage. And I'm syncing that up with my body's turn. I'm marrying that with my body's turn. And as my dad always told me, every time I rehearsed that, if I was told to stop at that position, at any position in my swing, and I'm told to stop, I should be able to hit it as hard as I can back through the golf ball because I have the proper necessary tension and energy built up when I do that. I'm not just putting it into position.
Not flimsy.
Not
You're
flimsy,
not armsy,
right? I'm doing it like I mean it, doing it like with the actual muscles that are going to translate to a real golf swing. So the next part of that is getting in the mirror and making sure when you do that, of course, what's going to happen? It's going to hit checkpoint 1 on the way up. Yep. It's then going to go up the forearm and get the butt of the club down towards the golf ball or just inside the ball. We call this the golden triangle, anywhere from the inside edge to 6 inches inside. That's where we like our players to have the golf club set, never above the ball, as that means the club is just behind our body, behind our hands, and it's going to have to play catch up on the way down.
Wonderful question here from Surf Drum Hip Hop. All right. So, same set position for all irons?
Yeah, so once again, same set position for all irons and woods. Same takeaway. But here's the difference in the feeling, okay? Kev's already back there shaking his head because he knows this. We've been over this a lot. People ask this question quite a bit. So this is a great question from Surf Drum
Hip Hop.
Hip Hop. Sweet. I like it all. It's great. All right, here we go. So if I'm hitting a wedge and my stance is narrow, let's just make this clear. Where's the set position? It's a spot off the right side of our body for a right-handed golfer, off the trail side of our body at about pocket high, right? Right here, pocket high. When the hands reach pocket high, that's where the club is in the full set position. For every club, narrower stance, ball position middle, wedge. It's only like 18 inches to get there. Okay, so it feels more abrupt. Now I have a driver in hand. Ball's up forward, wider stance. It's like 2.5 feet to get there. It's going to feel just more subtle, and it's more built up, like it's developing more, but it's still reaching the same position, okay? So 4-iron, same thing, just all exponential, right? I'm going to be a little bit narrower. Ball's not going to be as far forward, but it's going to be a little bit more time to develop than a wedge was. So the whole point is the set position, you guys, you're hitting that same point there. It just takes a little longer to get there as a result of the wider stance ball position. So what's nice about this drill I'm about to show you, and the drill I'm going to show you is simply the set go. Okay, it's a drill that basically gets you in the right set position, and you just rotate and release through the golf ball. And if you can hit it hard from there, it says a lot about the swing. It says you're connected. It says you have the proper leverage. It says you are rotating and releasing, right? So, and if you hit it down the line, what does it tell you? The third component of it, you have the right swing plane. The butt of the club is in the right spot. So that drill kickstarts really everything for the swing, because then our next drill, set, turn, go, is a great one to marry with that, where you go set, turn, go, right? The whole point being is that drill right there is one that really is the heartbeat of the swing, because when you can set the club the right way, and you understand from here, now I have the angle, now I have the connection, now I can slow motion, I can rotate and release that club through the golf ball. It gives you a feeling that you might not have ever had the sensation of if you keep going to the top, because the more we add to it, the more the golfer tends to lose that connection. Remember, all you're doing is, once you set that club, you're maintaining this relationship. You're keeping the structure of your arms the same. You're not changing anything. You're turning and driving it back down. And that's why you see the best golfers in the world get in those textbook positions, because they get here and it just turns into the right position, where so many of us are not setting and then settling, and all of the top positions are going to change. If I had 10 golfers on the range, it all starts to look different because of the different things happening with the swing. And what's funny is at the end of a Porzak Golf Complete game clinic, Mike and I go on the range as we start watching all the contact get better from everyone and everybody hitting it straighter. They start to develop some of these common denominators that we preach in the golf swing. It's always because of a better setup and a better set position.
At Porzak Golf, we take a lot of pride in having developed some of the best and most consistent golf swings on the planet. We do this through simplicity. Our Full Swing Masterclass will take you on a step-by-step, easy-to-understand process on how to get your golf swing better than ever. Join the many before you who've utilized our Full Swing Masterclass to take their games to the next level and beyond.